Hello everyone and welcome back to Freedom Through Confidence. My name is Ben, and in this video today I want to talk about a particular problem that I've seen a lot of men have, and that problem is how men deal with being hurt. How do we as men deal with the event itself, with the emotions surrounding being hurt? And at least in my opinion, from what I've seen and from the studies that I've read, men don't particularly deal with pain very well. And specifically what I'm talking about is emotional pain. Oftentimes we tend to deal with our pain, whether that be kind of physical pain or emotional pain or mental pain. We often deal with it simply by not dealing with it. In terms of physical pain, I could point to things like the fact that most men will avoid going to the doctor until things are really, really bad, and there's tons and tons of studies on this. It's possibly one of the reasons why men have, like, on average, like 5 years lower lifespan than women do, because they're more likely to go and get preventative care for things that are going on, whereas men will usually avoid the doctor until like a situation is kind of as bad as it can possibly get. So me, for example, when I was in university, I had a problem with my knee. I'd known that I had a problem with my knee for years, and over the course of, you know, a lot of time playing badminton, my problem with the pain in my knee got worse and worse and worse, and then one day I just rolled it and it felt like my kneecap popped out and popped back in. And you know what I did? I went and I sat off on the sidelines for it, and then I jumped back on and carried on playing until the pain was unbearable. And I didn't realise the pain was unbearable until I woke up the next morning and I had to somehow find my way to a clinic to get myself looked at and sorted out. And I'm sure that many men watching this video, probably even you watching this video right now, have had some kind of similar experience. And emotional pain is pretty much the exact same way. We hide our pain behind things like making jokes, or through getting angry, or under the umbrella of stoicism, this idea that a strong man keeps himself to himself, he keeps his emotions on lock, he deals with his pain in his own way, and that is what makes a man strong. But ultimately, emotional pain does work in more or less the same way as physical pain. You know, if there is an emotional pain that you're feeling, then there is an emotional wound that has been dealt either by you or by another person or by a life circumstance. And in the same way as you cannot simply ignore a stab wound and wait for it to go away, with an emotional wound you have to go and take care of it. Ultimately, ignoring your pain doesn't make you any stronger, and in fact I can make a pretty good argument for why ignoring your pain actually makes you weaker on the whole. Because again, think about it. If you are in a car accident and you decide to you just walk it off, but you've got a concussion, like you could just drop dead because you thought that, well, you know, it's not too bad, or I can handle this pain. I'm a man. I'm a big, strong, stoic man. I can deal with it. And then, you know, you don't realize that, oh, actually, it's a little bit more than a headache. Maybe there is some hemorrhaging, and things kind of escalate from there. So emotional pain works in the same way. You think for one day, yeah, I can bury this, I can deal with this, I can handle this, you know, I'm just feeling a little sad, I'm just feeling a little down, and that can spiral and build up and compound. And it is one of the reasons behind the statistic that a lot more men than women commit suicide, because whilst there are a number of other factors involved, one of those is the fact that as men we don't deal with our pain, we don't deal with our problems, we try to ignore it or we attempt to suppress it. And none of these things actually solve the problem, because what actually solves the problem of emotional pain and physical pain as well is actually going and dealing with it. If you've got a headache, you go and you take paracetamol. If you are feeling sad, then you try and figure out what's making you sad, and then you go and deal with it. If it is a really, really bad physical problem, then you go and you see a doctor. And likewise, if it is a very, very bad emotional pain, you should go and get professional help as well. There's no shame in seeking help. And when we deal with our emotional pain with things like lashing out or making like massive generalizations about events or things or groups of people even, like I've seen on too many occasions that a guy will get rejected by a woman, and maybe it's a bad rejection, maybe the woman was really, really horrible to him, but then that man will go away and make a generalization that all women are like that. And that doesn't really deal with the pain of what's happening. It just puts the blame on someone else. It draws your attention away from it, because it's not you that's hurting. It's all the women that are hurting you instead. And that is how that kind of belief builds up, and then that creates a very high level of toxicity, and that's not great for your life either. And that's a topic for another time. But the only way that we as men can deal with whatever pain it is that we are feeling, no matter if that is emotional pain or physical pain or mental pain, the only way to deal with it is to deal with it. If you don't, it will only get worse. There's not a whole lot that I can guarantee in life, but that's one of the things that I can guarantee, is that if you do not handle your problems, they will only get worse over time. You've got to remember that the reason that we have pain as a function of our body is to be informative. If you feel a sharp pain in your kneecap, then you should probably go and see a doctor, because it means you've got a problem there. Maybe it's a problem with the tendon or the muscles that are pulling on it, or maybe you've like cracked the bone. In any case, that sharp pain in your knee says, pay attention, this needs fixing. And the same thing with emotional pain. You start to experience massive amounts of grief because, you know, someone close to you has died. That is your mind drawing attention to the fact that something's wrong, you are hurting, and you need to deal with that in one way or another. Now, I'm not here to tell you what is the right way for you to deal with pain or whatever it is that's going on in your life, but you do need to find a way for you to deal with it, because if you don't, the consequences can be horrendously bad. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say on this subject. Please remember, guys, hiding your pain or just being stoic or just trying to laugh it off or getting angry about it or any of these things, they don't actually solve the problem. They just displace it for a little while. And while you're not looking at the pain, because out of sight, out of mind, it grows and it worsens. And many, many men are suffering from issues that could be dealt with if we were just more likely to talk about it. So this is something I want to encourage in more men. I hope you have found this video useful. Let me know your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what your thoughts on this are. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I put out a video every single day, all on confidence and life advice for the average Joe. So if that's what you're interested in, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video, share it with all your friends, all the normal stuff. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos here on this channel very soon.